What's up everybody, welcome back to the Art of Crypto, the birthplace of absolutely legendary gains. In this video we are going to take a look at Luna, and I know Luna has been a very hot topic lately, and rightfully so. It has been one of the highest, best performing coins since basically August of this year, and basically in the last 4 months it has pulled off pretty much a 20x. Now, if you want to figure out if Luna is going to start dumping from here or is it going to start pumping, definitely stick around to the end of this video. But before we dive right into Luna, if you haven't already followed me on Twitter at _theartofcrypto, this is where I'm doing a $2,000 giveaway for 2022 New Year's. And if you're interested to participate, make sure you head over to my Twitter account, as well as, this is just where I'm sharing the latest market updates, as well as any coins that I might be looking at, such as DeFi or whatever, that I can't make a video on because it does take quite some time to make a video. So this is something you're interested in, make sure you head over to Twitter at _theartofcrypto and check it out. Now, without any further ado, let's dive right into it. Full disclosure, I was an early, I wouldn't say early. Back then I bought Luna with an average entry of about $7. And honestly speaking, I seriously thought I was already late on Luna, because back then you can see that it pumped basically from $1 up to $7, and little do you know, totally forgot about my Luna bag, and it hit $100 just a few days ago. What a time to be alive. So for now, definitely pay attention to this trend line right here that you are drawing. Now, in the event that you do come back and retest this trend line, that is going to be a very viable entry for you to take. Now, even though that might be the case, I don't think that is going to be the optimal entry, and I'll give you a couple of reasons why. So the first entry that you're really going to pay attention to is this entry right here at about $64. Now, if you're paying attention to this block right here, this is called a bullish order block, and it is basically the last down candle before a massive move upwards. Now, if you look on the daily chart, you can see that this is clearly an area of imbalance. Now, if I go back onto, say, the 12 hourly, you can see this a little bit more clearer. Basically, from this point onwards, after it pumped, you can see that there has been a lack of price action. For example, over here, there is a lack of price action over here, other than that one little blue candle. And it's basically, this is called an imbalance. Basically, the market was very imbalanced towards one side, which means the market was very heavily favored towards the buy side, and that's why the market makers repriced, Luna higher and higher. But eventually they need to bring the price back down in order to mitigate the losses on their short positions, because to us retail traders, we think of trading in terms of long and short, right? You don't really think about hedging. But when it comes to the market makers, which they move the markets, by the way, all of this that you see, this is from the market makers. And, I've made so many videos on this channel, and that's just proof that, everything that I say, this is basically a study of how the market makers like to do things. For example, this wick down here, right below this low right here, and then you immediately pump it, that's something market makers do as well. If you're interested to find out more about how this works, I'm going to link a video on the top right hand corner, check it out. But otherwise, expect these market makers to reprice Luna lower in order to mitigate the losses on their short positions. However, while that is going to be the optimal entry, you cannot deny that on the 12 hourly, this is the 89 EMA, I believe, and it just lines up with this trend line right here. So in the event that Luna does come back down to retest this trend line, which I'm going to assume is going to be somewhere at between $72 to $75, right? In between this range, you are going to want to pick up on some Luna. And that is going to be the first entry. I would set my stop loss beneath a key EMA such as this. And you don't even have to use the 12 hourly EMA. You could use, for example, the 100 EMA, right? This is the 89 EMA and this is the 100. So me personally, I would place an order on the trend line and set my stop loss below the 100 EMA. And for those of you who don't know about EMAs, this is a tool that allows you to determine where are the key points of support for many trends. For example, the 200 EMA is going to be very strong support for a very long-term trend, whereas the 50 is going to be support for what we call a healthy trend, right? A healthy trend, 50 EMA, that's going to be your area of value, and the 100 EMA sits right smack dab in the middle, such as this. And you can see how well these EMAs like to hold up, right? Absolutely beautiful. While I do not use these EMAs regularly in my analysis, I cannot deny that this is a tool that is very, very useful. Now, the way I like to look at indicators is think of price action as the best indicator there is, because what are indicators plotted on? They're plotted on price action. So if you learn how to read the price action, there is really no need for indicators. However, they do have a time in place, just like with every other tool, they have a time in place, but you're not supposed to use them like all of the time. At least that's just how I look at it. And if you want a video detailing exactly how I use these EMAs in my trading, where I give you like a step-by-step strategy on how to use these EMAs, I want you to check out the video on the top right hand corner that I'm going to link. I get way more in depth to a step-by-step tutorial about how to make about 50% to 100% every month just using EMAs, and I'll give you the exact step-by-step. So moving on, first entry is going to be here with a stop loss beneath the 100 EMA. Now the second entry, which is the one that I'm going to be paying more attention to, is going to be on the daily chart at $64, as well as, let me move it down a little bit, $64 and $63. In the event that Luna comes back to this area right here, you can expect this area to be very strong support for Luna. So if you remember back like early on in the video, I said that this was a bullish order block. And that means that this is an area of untapped liquidity that the market makers will like to bring the price back to in order to, mitigate their positions and fill in their own long orders in order to maybe push the price higher. So in the event that you do get this entry right here, this is going to be the entry that you're going to want to pay attention to. Me personally, I would set a limit order at $64 and $58, right? 58 with a stop loss set at about $51 or 52, sorry. Now, doing so will allow you to dollar cost average, because nobody knows where's the exact bottom. For all we know, it could come all the way down to this order block right here, but it will not violate it, or it could just, come to the top of the order block and then it'll bounce. Right, so we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know where's the exact bottom. I can tell you that the bottom is going to come within this range right here, but I can't tell you exactly where it's going to come. Most of the time though, it does find its bottom at the top of the order block, right? Which means these two entries right here, which is at 64.1 and 63. However, if the market is dumping like really, really hard and fast, there are often times where, you might just get wicked out all of a sudden. Right, because the market is just moving so fast and there's no liquidity. So definitely be prepared for that. And that's why I would set limit orders. And in fact, if you see that the market's moving like really, really fast, well, it's really volatile at the moment, like it's going through a massive dump, I would even suggest you to remove the stop loss at the moment, right? Just in like temporarily until the volatility dies down. And then you can set the stop loss back again, because you don't want to get stopped out like for no reason, just for the price to bounce like 20-30%. And talking about Luna, I feel like it's going to bounce 20-30%, maybe even more. Luna has been one of the, if not the strongest coins. Luna and AVAX and Eagle, right? These coins are just absolutely like monster coins ever since July of this year. So do not sleep on Luna. I definitely do not think this is done. It will take a while before it goes even higher, but still, regardless, this is still a fundamentally sound coin that if you're interested to scoop out more of, definitely pay attention to these entries that I'm giving you. So that's going to be, entry number 2. Now, this entry down here is not one that I expect to get hit, simply because Luna went a lot higher than what I previously expected. I called this bottom back here to the private Discord group, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out already, this is where not only are you going to get the latest market updates, as well as get access to all of the coins that I might be looking at. So basically, if you're always finding yourself confused as to, what do you do now? What do you do at this time? Is it safe to get in? This is going to help you out a lot. Not only that, you're going to get access to all of the trades that I'm going to be calling, as well as the sniper trades, where we are basically making money literally every single day. So this is probably going to pay itself off. And it just so happens that if you're serious about taking your trading to the next level, there is a trading course over here where you're going to learn everything that works and discard everything that doesn't. So if this is something you're interested in, check out the link in the description below. For now, we're going to get back into the video. So this is like this entry right here. I called for the private Discord group back then, but I'll probably have to remove this entry simply because, Luna has pumped like 2x since this point right here. And I don't think we're going to be revisiting that area, anytime soon. But nonetheless, I'm still going to call it to you guys, just so you guys could be prepared for, any scenario. In case, Luna really does go through like a 50% dump from this point onwards, you will be prepared for, whatever happens, and you'll be able to catch the exact bottom. So the exact bottom for Luna is going to come between $46 and $41.1. Not only is this sitting within a daily order block, which by the way is way stronger than an order block on a lower time frame, but at the same time, this is a very key support and resistance, or rather support, because look at how many times Luna came back down to test this area, right? Rejected here, support, what? You get the idea. This is going to be very, very strong level to keep in mind. And if Luna revisits 41.1, I expect that to be the bottom period. Now, for those of you who follow my YouTube channel who have followed my YouTube channel for quite a while, you know that I tend to call the exact bottoms months in advance. So right now I'm saying that, I'm not saying that I'm not going to make a Luna video anymore, but if it does get back all the way here, which I do not expect to happen, definitely pay attention to these two entries. But otherwise, this entry right here is going to give you very, very good gains. Now, in my opinion, if you do get that entry over there, you can expect to take some profit at $74.6, $83.7, as well as $100 if you take this trade right here. And assuming that, let's say you get in smack dab right in the middle, that's your stop loss, at the very least, this is going to be a 1.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio at about 22% gain at the minimum. And any more is just going to be the cherry on top of the cake, or the cherry on top of the pie. But you get the idea. And you know what, talking about the cherry on top of the pie, if you haven't already followed me on Twitter, I'm doing a $2,000 giveaway on Twitter right here. So if you haven't already followed me on Twitter at _the_art_of_crypto, definitely do so. This is where not only I'm sharing the latest market updates, but I'm just sharing whatever coins that I might be looking at, because it does take quite some time to make a video. So if this is something that you're interested in, check out my Twitter at _. And then now that we are finally done with, sort of I know this whole video, the entire video is just predicated on Luna dumping and, us catching, bottoms or whatever. But what if Luna doesn't dump? Honestly, it's really hard. Like I'm a bull, right? I'm a crypto bull. I love crypto. I do believe that it's the future. But at the moment, just like how I called with AVAX, Ethereum and Bitcoin, at the moment, I don't see any kind of a bullish entry for AVAX. Even if it breaks, the all-time high, yeah, I would have to reevaluate, right? I wouldn't jump right in as it breaks the all-time high. So if you're wondering about, where Luna's potentially going to go, perhaps after breaking $100, which is the current all-time high, I'm honestly not sure, right? Honestly speaking, I am not sure. I don't recommend getting into Luna. Just looking for bullish entries at the moment. Like, I would love to help you guys out, but like, I wouldn't really go long anywhere, in this zone right here. This is sort of the typical market maker trap for retail traders. Now, if anything though, I don't see any bullish entry right now that you can go into. I could be wrong. In that case, then so be it. But the way I like to think about the markets is I would much rather be safe, because I would much rather preserve my capital than try to FOMO into something. FOMO means fear of missing out, rather than FOMO into something and, it turns out it goes against me. So in trading, literally, like, the most important thing is capital preservation and risk management. Because, for example, if you lose 90% of your money, right, with the remaining 10%, you would have to make a 10x on the remaining 10% in order to get back to just where you were. So I really want you to visualize this in this way. It becomes really important for you to manage your risk and to preserve your capital. At the moment, I don't see a long, like, anywhere here, right? Anywhere here. This is typical sort of bearish market structure. You could visualize Luna as forming a range right here, right? If you visualize it like that with a swing high to the swing low, assuming this swing low doesn't get broken, then you are sort of forming like a bull flag, right? And it's just going to gyrate between these two areas for, an indefinite period of time. And if that is the case, then right here would definitely be a good place to place a long with a stop loss beneath this swing low. Now, this is definitely an entry that I would advocate. I would give this a try because this is just what I'm seeing. However, this is not the best setup. And the way that I always like to advise my students in the private Discord is, this is a free, tidbit of information. If you find this information, really helpful, you find that you appreciate it, you learn something new, it would help me a lot if you could just drop a like button. It's a small gesture, but it really, really helps a lot. So the way that I like to think of the markets is you have so many cryptocurrencies, right? You have hundreds, if not thousands of cryptocurrencies. There is bound to be like one entry, like one really good entry in one of these cryptocurrencies, like every day. So you really do not have to rush into things. And I'm just being honest here. If you don't see an ideal setup, don't take it. There's like so many hundreds more of like cryptocurrencies that you can look at, and why are you so hung up on this entry right here? But nonetheless, this would be a good entry. It's not going to be the best entry, but it's a pretty good entry. So this is something you're interested in. I won't advocate it, but you can definitely take it, assuming that this range formation. But otherwise, I really would pay more attention on, setting limit orders and getting Luna, lower down low, because it did just recently hit some kind of an all-time high. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary, especially in the world of crypto, for this thing to start, dumping really hard. So if you watch until this point of the video, it would help me a lot as well if you just, comment down in comment section Luna, right? It's a small gesture, but it really helps the YouTube algorithm pick up this video. It'll help more people get, exposure to this video. And if you do that, I'd be highly, highly grateful to you guys. And remember, I have a $2,000 giveaway on my Twitter. It's a little way for me to pay to, give back to the community, because without you guys, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I highly, highly appreciate it. So that's going to be it for Luna. Oh, and Happy New Year. So excited for 2022. But yeah. Oh, yeah. And actually, we just got the confirmation of that swing low. So you can absolutely place an order over here and expect that swing low to hold, although it's risky. It's risky. Let's just say it's risky. So, for now, may the gains be with you, my friends, and peace.